Welcome back to Salty Sunshine. I'm your host, Lisa. I'm ready to talk some shiz naive. Does anyone know where that reference is from? It's none other than Little Scrappy from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I love that show. I've been watching it since the beginning. Yes, everyone thinks it's weird, but I am a lifer. Once I'm locked in, I'm going to continue and keep up. They do have a Love and Hip Hop Miami, which I refuse to watch because it's disgusting. And it's not the same. The original formula is the best. Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Miss Erica Dixon, Little Scrappy, Young Jock, like that's like the original crew, and that's what I F with. Anyways, I think it's a great way to say shit instead of saying shit. Shiz naive, some shiz. Anyways, I did a recap of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reunion, and I have a mini episode that's up if you want to go check that out. Since the reunion, it's been, I don't know if Demi's coming back. I hope she doesn't, but since the reunion, Marciano from Vanderpump Villa is suing Demi for defamation, which I think is warranted. I'm not going to lie. If everything that she says is what happened as far as her description of the quote unquote assault is not assault in my eyes. So I think she's like, she's lied so much about it. I feel like she's digging her heels in, but now he's suing her. And I think he should, because I think it's really messed up when somebody, this whole Me Too stuff, it's kind of skewed everything. Cause now it's like, oh, believe women. What do you mean believe women? Women are human beings and human beings lie. So this whole believe women, you should believe anybody, a man or a woman that says they were assaulted or a crime was done against them. You should believe everyone that reports something, right? You should believe every human being and then investigate and look at the facts and then you decide. Women should be no different. Obviously, any accusation should be taken seriously. You look into it, all of that stuff, and you go in obviously with an open mind, believing what they're telling you. But she's obviously, in her own words, she says that his quote unquote assault was like smacking her ass, but they were obviously very touchy feely and flirty, and she continued a relationship with him. She FaceTimed him with her kid. Like, it's just not, the evidence is there, and her saying that, comparing herself to Macy, that like if she was in a relationship with him, she's married to another person. You didn't have to talk to him. You kept talking to him because you liked him. So it's kind of crazy to watch, to be honest with you. But on Viall Files, Nick Viall and Natalie, they were doing a recap and they were talking. And Natalie's getting so much heat. And I'm going to say something. I listen to Viall Files, but I am very unbiased on everything. Like, people, I have friends that get mad at me because I see things for what they are, and I'm not going to skew one way just because you're my friend. I'll be like, well, that kind of makes sense. That doesn't make sense. I see it this way. I believe that, whatever. I listened to that podcast, and I think Nick is very biased, and I think that's why they didn't have him rehost the reunion. And he does it with like Blake Lively and whoever he likes. He has rose-colored glasses on and always takes your side. Like, he hates Lisa Barlow, so he can never like agree with Lisa. That kind of thing. I could do that. I could be neutral. Anyways, I have to not side, but I have to kind of defend Natalie because I don't think Natalie was mom shaming Whitney. So she's getting all this heat because Whitney Levitt from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, as she was on Dancing with the Stars. She has 3 little kids. One is like a pretty young newborn. And now she's on her way to do Chicago on Broadway. And Natalie's like, how does she find the time? And I think she's literally just curious, like, how do you mother 3 kids? Because let's be real, they have a stay-at-home dad, but, mom never checks out. Like, mentally, you want to, if they're sick, they need a doctor appointment, you got to see them. Did they go to sleep? Like, you're still involved. A mother never checks out. So her question is simply, how does she find the energy, the time, and the emotional strength with 3 little children to be moving with all their crap? Because kids have so much crap. I don't know how babies have so much crap. They have like loads and loads of crap. So she's like, how is she finding the time to dance focus on that, which is strenuous physical stuff on your body, mental, and then be a mom. I think she's literally just asking, how does she do it? I don't think she's saying she's lacking in the mom department or she shouldn't do it. She's basically, I think, from what I heard, this is just my POV. I think she's actually asking how. How does she do it? Like, I could never. I'm a lazy bitch. No. She's probably like, I need a long bath and I need, she's probably like, I'm on the lazier side. I could never hustle like that. And I think she's genuinely asking how she does it. I don't think she's shaming her whatsoever. That was my take. And I would be very happy to say, what a bitch. I can't believe she said that if I thought she meant what everyone is saying she meant. So I'm going to have to defend Natalie on this one because I think she's just genuinely asking, like, how the hell is she a superhuman? I think that's what she's asking. This is not the same. Everyone's like, oh, a man going to work playing football. A man is not involved in his kids the way a woman is. I mean, let's be real. What are you guys talking about? Obviously, they're checked out. They don't give a shit what's happening with the kid. I mean, men are selfish. They just are. They're not like women. So I think that's where Natalie's coming from. Anyways, Black Friday deals for Thanksgiving, they're not what they used to be. It's really sad. It's basically like a regular sale, 20-30% off. I mean, what a joke. That is not a sale. So the good thing is it takes the pressure off of like trying to buy everything, but it's not fun anymore because it's not that much of a deal. Kim Kardashian did this Kimsmas live TikTok, like a QVC type of thing. She went live on TikTok and she set the whole thing up, and she had guests: Kris Jenner, Kyle Richards, Kathy Hilton, Chloe, Snoop Dogg, and that guy Nick from Love Island. She did a whole thing. It was very 90s. It was like pixelated and her outfits were stupid and ridiculous. Here's the thing with Kim. Now, if I was biased with anyone, it would be Kim Kardashian, and I still feel like I could talk about it in a general neutral way. But I've always found Kim to be just a ridiculous human being, as far as I think she has a mental illness as far as vanity. I think she's like the highest level of narcissistic vanity that exists, and I feel like she tries to pull off this, I'm so real, I keep it real, but she keeps nothing real. The Kardashians have still not mentioned that they're on Ozempic. How do you have a reality show and you don't mention the Ozempic phenomenon? You don't mention how you lost the weight. Like, just keep it real. Everyone knows. It's not a secret. So her butt fat injections that she swears she doesn't have. They had this clip on the Kardashians with Kris saying, "Why are you wearing a robe with a baseball hat?" Then Kim tells Kris, "Why do you have loafers?" Like, they were dissing each other in a quote unquote playful way, but you could tell they were smiling and underneath, like, fuck off. It was kind of uncomfortable to watch, but basically they kept going back and forth. And then Kris is like, the only real thing on our faces are our noses. And then she's like, Kim, turn around, bend over, let's get started, like, about what's fake. So she's basically saying your ass is fake. And they could say that it was a joke. We all know it's not. Her ass is fake. And I literally would turn around and start to like Kim if she would just keep it real. Just keep it real. She won't keep it real, and it drives me crazy. So therefore, I think she's a silly human being. And I think her outfits are stupid. And it was a shit show in a funny way. I will say her Kimsmas. Snoop Dogg was there. It was like a lot of bloopers. Kris wouldn't keep to the script. So in that sense, it was fun. They had all these sales. So anyways, what did I watch? Dancing with the Stars. I don't think I did talk about it in a clip, but not on the pod, that Robert Irwin won, everyone knows, and then Whitney went on Call Her Daddy with Mark and did their last final dance on Call Her Daddy, which I thought was weird. Call Her Daddy I don't listen to. I'm just gonna I don't. I used to, and I found, when you look at something, you're like, why do I follow this person? And then you unfollow them. It dawns on you that you don't enjoy a certain whatever. I don't enjoy her interviews. I'm sorry. I just don't enjoy them. I don't like her the way she speaks. I think she never gets below surface. I don't think she digs deep enough. I think I don't know. Sometimes if I like the guest, I'll tune in to see if there's anything, but I'll clock out of that too. I just don't listen to it regularly. But I saw a clip of that and I thought that was interesting. They had like blood all over themselves and spitting blood, and I don't know, whatever. They said that the online trolls were really, really disgusting, which I believe because people online, it's funny because people act like people online aren't people in the real world, and people in the real world suck. Like, for the most part, people suck. And that's why we need police and we need all the laws, and we wouldn't need them if people didn't actually suck to their core. They're just showing it online more because they feel brave behind the screen and the keyboard. So that I totally believe. And people are such losers that insult people online. It's just crazy. Okay, new Vanderpump Rules came out. I give it a 0 out of 5. Sucked. I didn't like it. I knew I wouldn't. I'm not surprised. I watched it to give it a chance. Am I going to watch another episode? Probably not. I have so much to watch on my plate that I have zero interest in this cast. There's nothing intriguing. And that's it for me on that. I dove deep into the Casey Anthony doc. I'm like diving into Peacock and Hulu to see what else is in there because I'm always on my YouTube TV. So I found the Casey doc from 2022. It's from her quote unquote point of view, the truth. She's full of shit. She's a weirdo, and it's crazy that her team of lawyers. She had the lawyer that got her off. He took her in, which makes so much sense because I was like, where is she working? How is she living? She's not talking to her parents. How is she surviving? And now I know because her lawyer took her in, him and his wife, and they treat her like a daughter, and he believes her. So that's weird because he should be kind of smart, right? He's a lawyer. How can he believe her? Come on. She's blaming her dad. The whole thing sounded like a self-help diary of how her dad abused her and her brother. And it's like, what does that have to do with your child missing? You know? I don't care what happened to you when you were a kid. Once you have a kid, you have that mother instinct and you protect your kid. And why are we talking about your therapy session? I don't care what your dad did to you. Your kid's missing and you didn't call the police. That's all I see. And that's all I will ever see. Because don't give me that bullshit. She's like, I woke up, I went to sleep at my parents' house, and my daughter was with me in the bed, and I woke up, and I was running my dad woke me up saying, where's Kaylee? Where's Kaylee? And when I went outside, he was holding her, like she was limp, like she was drowned in the pool, and he gave her to me, and I started to cry, and then he took her back. He's like, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. And she literally said that she thought the daughter was dead. And then she goes on to say that she thought the dad took care of it and that she was hoping that the little girl was still alive for a freaking month. Are you stupid? Are you stupid to think that we're going to believe this crap? That makes no sense. And then she went back to work at the clubs promoting. No. Immediately no, you're a liar and you're a freak. And I don't believe anything that you say. And if your dad did something to your daughter, you were part of it. So either way, you were part of it, and I will always believe that, and it's crazy that she got off. While Brianna was here, we saw this terrible movie with Julia Roberts on Prime. It's called After the Hunt. What in the world? I was like, oh, it has to be decent because Julia Roberts is in it. Well, no, it's a terrible, terrible movie. It was so boring. We stopped maybe 30 minutes in to see if it got any better. Nope, it was terrible. We didn't like it. I wanted to talk real quick before I want to get into this juicy crime story of Brian and Anna Walsh that's on trial right now in Massachusetts. The trial started last week and it's crazy. Bethenny was on the toast a few weeks ago. Bethenny Frankel was on the toast with Claudia Oshry, and I just have to say, I follow Bethenny. I like her. But again, I can just say things that are so obvious. Like, she's so far up her own asshole. It's comical, and it's crazy that I feel like she has some level of self-awareness. How is she not, or she's just okay with it? But how does she not see how she comes off, you know? Like, I invented everything, you know? She's like the girls from Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion. She's like, I invented the Post-it. She's like, I invented The term food noise, I invented this. I started, like, she's so, and that just screams insecurity, right? Um, in the Spanish culture, people say in Spanish, you don't have a grandma. Like, what happened? What happened to your grandma? Because usually your grandmother hypes you up and tells you how special you are. And if you don't have that, you have to do it for yourself. So basically, Bethenny had no grandma because she cannot like not be arrogant, and it's kind of crazy to listen to. I enjoyed the episode. I thought she was also on Skinny Confidential. Oh my god, that was such an awkward conversation. I think Claudia did a good job of keeping it light and not pressing her on anything and just kind of letting her guide it, and not, it flowed well as it could go, because anytime Bethenny's on an interview with someone, it's awkward because her attitude is so abrasive and so arrogant that it never flows good. And I thought it flowed really good on the toast. When she was on Skinny Confidential, what a train wreck. Oh my God. It was awkward. You're like, is someone offended? Like, what's happening? It got weird. And I don't know where else. Wherever I've heard her, she's very, but I'd still enjoy her, if that makes any sense. That's her character flaw. But I still enjoy her, and I don't hold it against her too much. And it is what it is, whatever. It's like, people have their characters. No one's perfect. But I still enjoy her. I think she's funny, but I do wish she would, tone it down on that aspect. So before the Brian Walsh, there's another story that happened like a month ago or so. And this is just crazy. This was in November. This man in Ohio, 2 children and 2 men were fatally shot in Ohio. The mother was physically uninjured, clearly in shock. Officers were called at 6:24, blah, 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 tragic shooting. So basically this woman is divorced. She marries a new guy, or is with a new guy, and her ex-husband helps her try to get away from this new guy because the new guy's abusive. And it's really, really sad because she had a 7-year-old and a 7-month-old. This psychopath killed her 7-year-old and her 7-month-old. It's just really sad. And the ex-husband. So the ex-husband tried to help her and the kids get away. And the guy came home when she wasn't expecting him to come home, and he shot everyone except for her, including himself. And it's really disgusting. It's just crazy. This is why sometimes, you're like, oh, I haven't found anyone. It's like, well, just thank God you haven't found some psychopath that's going to come shoot you up and your family. It's just, dating is scary because all these things happen with significant others, a lot of them. And you got to be careful who you mess with. And you just never know who is crazy enough to do something like that. Now this poor mom has to live with her kids, her ex-husband. It's just crazy. And she can't even watch the guy burn in hell in jail because he's not here anymore either. So I thought that was crazy. And then the case right now that is in the news in Massachusetts, this guy, Brian and Anna Walsh, they're married. They live in Massachusetts. She gets a new awesome job in Washington, so she splits her time between DC and Massachusetts. She's 39. She gets a realtor. They both get a realtor, so they bought a townhouse in DC, so she can like go back and forth. She starts having an affair with the realtor. After a little bit, they keep in touch, and she starts having an affair. The husband all this time is fighting this. He's on house arrest, and he's fighting this conviction. He was selling fake Andy Warhol paintings, so he's on house arrest, and that's why she was really frustrated because they couldn't move the kids and him to DC because of his stupid case. So if you want to follow specifics on this trial, I suggest you follow on TikTok. I don't know if she's on Instagram. There's a lady, Penny Like a Coin. She's a reporter and she's covering the case, and she really comes on every day or whenever they go to trial, and she breaks it down for you in a really easy, clean way. And so I got a lot of my information from her. So the trial started the week of December 1st. Basically in 2022, the end of 2022, Anna misses Thanksgiving. She's already having an affair with the broker. She comes home, and obviously he knows that she's having an affair. The mother-in-law, the guy's mom, the husband's mom, had hired a PI because everyone knew she was cheating, to follow her. And come New Year's Day 2023, she's gone, and they never found her body. They still haven't found her body till today, which is crazy because so New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, they have a dinner with some friends, and when they leave, he claims he was picking up the house, and when he went upstairs, he starts to nudge her, and she's already dead, and she falls on the floor from the bed. And he's not a normal human being. This is his story. Obviously, it's all lies. He says he's not a normal person. He doesn't call 911. Why? Because he thinks the kids are going to have no parents because they're going to blame him. So, like any regular person, you dismember the person that's dead, your spouse, instead of calling 911. And what if she's still alive? You're not a medical professional. He doesn't, whatever. It's all lies. So he dismembers her. Later on, so he tells the police, he tells the police that she went to work and she never got there. So the people from work are wondering where she is. The lover's wondering where she is. I guess her family, whatever. He tells the police that she left to work and never came back, which was clearly a lie because he already dismembered her. And then, so they begin the hunt about 4 days later. And then they find in his Google search that he Googled a bunch of stuff. How long does it take to dispose a body? What does Clorox do to a dead body? What does it do to blood? What's the best way to clean blood? Do I put bloody clothes in the washer or do I burn them? Does the dishwasher clean blood? Does bleach clean blood floors? Do I throw body, all this stuff. How do I dismember a body? All this stuff, all this morbid Google searches, best divorce strategies, all this stuff about divorce. So all this stuff is happening. And I don't know how they found 9 bags or something in different dumpsters, including a dumpster behind his mom's house, of her belongings, like boots and jewelry and stuff like that. My question is, where's the body? And why isn't he forced to have to say where the body is? No one knows where the body is, even while he's on trial, which is crazy. So he is on trial for 3 charges. The charges are dismembering a body and improper disposal of a body, not dismembering, improper disposal of a body, misleading police investigation, and first-degree murder. So when the trial starts, he threw them a curveball, his attorneys, and he pled guilty instead of not guilty to the 2 lesser charges, which is improper disposal of body and misleading police investigation. He pled guilty to that. And they're saying they think he did that because he wants to bring down the first-degree murder charge because that's life in prison or death sentence. And he wants to get it to second or something. But how can he plead guilty to improper disposal of a body and not tell you where the freaking body is? That's crazy. I don't think he said that. And so that's just nuts. I don't know. They should just give him first-degree murder just for not saying where the freaking body is. He was attacked in prison. And so now he's on trial only for first-degree murder because he already pleaded guilty to the other 2 items. In the opening statements, they say that, the lawyers are sticking to the story that the body was already dead and he's a psychopath and dismember her instead of calling 911, which is crazy. He knew about the affair. He was obviously upset that she missed Thanksgiving and was preoccupied with this other person. They're saying also with the house arrest and the charge of selling fake paintings, he has all this restitution he has to pay, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So that's also a huge issue. And the wife has, so possible motives is jealousy over the affair. He owes a lot of money. And she's obviously probably going to divorce him, right? Plans on divorcing him. So those are the motives. And it's a crazy story. As it goes on, again, if you want to follow day-to-day activity, Penny Like a Coin on TikTok, a lot of people are talking about it, but I like the way she's reporting it. She's actually in the courtroom. I saw that the lover did take the stand And if you see this guy, he's like the biggest dork. Again, you just don't know what people are capable of. He's like the biggest dork. I don't know how old her child is. I think it's a smaller child, the child they have together, if I'm not mistaken. They haven't talked too much about the baby, but he looks like a complete dork. And so it's interesting too, because so she's married, having an affair. The guy she's having an affair with is also married, quote unquote, separated. There's no separation when you're married. I hate this term. It drives me crazy. It's a pet peeve of mine. If you are married and you say you're quote unquote separated, that means nothing. That means you're in a fight. That means what? That doesn't mean, it's not like you're dating someone and you broke up. You're married. So no matter what you're doing, you're married until you file a divorce. If you haven't filed divorce, there's no such thing as separation, as far as like you're cheating no matter what. File freaking divorce. It gets messy. People need to stop doing this kind of shit. His ex-wife or his wife could come and kill her too. Like, why are you can't mess with people's emotions like this, and people just don't learn. If you're not with someone and you want to start something else, file divorce papers, because it's black and white. It's clear. Everyone knows what's happening. And it's not this gray bullshit area that people actually lose their minds in. People don't cope well, obviously, with cheating. People don't like it. It's embarrassing. It drives you crazy, and people should just stop. But this case is nuts. He's basically saying, I dismembered my wife because I found her deceased in our bed. You psychopath. That's crazy, which that's not the truth, obviously. And there's this huge hole in the ceiling. I don't know if it's in the basement or something. There's a hole somewhere in the house that they found, and they're saying he probably wanted to stuff her body in there. Maybe it was too much work to get it in. The hole remains, and he decided to just chop her up and get rid of the body parts, which it's nuts that they haven't found either where they're buried or anywhere else. I don't know what he did with them. Maybe he burned them. But you can't just burn. Body parts don't burn that quickly. People think you could just burn stuff. It takes, sometimes they don't burn. The bones don't burn. So that's interesting. I'm like following this. I know it's on Dateline too, the podcast. If you want to go listen to that. It's a crazy story. I'm like glued to the updates on it because I want to know what happens with this. It's an insane story, and obviously he's gonna go to jail. But if they never find her body, how are they gonna convict him? Even though he's pleading to dismembering her, so whatever. I don't know what happens in something like this. I don't think we've ever had something so crazy unless he cops to it later. It's just nuts. Stay tuned. I will follow up again next week with any updates. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.